everybody, and welcome to another Kerfuffle showcase. And today, again, Blue Blood royalty, as I always say, it's Mr. Paul Long, the Facebook extraordinaire, bar none. How are you, Paul?
Really good, Simon. Thank you for having me.
That's all right. And this is a different thing for us, because ordinarily you're very kind to come and join us and spread your knowledge and everything and help other people. But this is all about you. So I'm not doing a full Jim will fix it or anything like that. I'm not that edgy, but we're going to be concentrating on what you're doing for a whole host of leading agents around the country. And I think I have to be, as the people's champion, I have to put my hands up. We're incredibly biased because we've been working with you for over a year as well now, Paul, haven't we? And let's just get that out there. I couldn't have been happier with the input you've given us and guides there. So any suppliers as well, not if you're competing with us, not that we have competitors, do of course pay attention to what Paul's going to be talking about. Because shall I just summarize? I mean, this is summarize before we've even spoken about it.
Finish.
It strikes me that, you know, one of the just amazing things that comes from you is that there are obviously 1,000,001 different specialists out there in this whole kind of arena. But the problem you've got there is that you will just spend an eternity trying to get them up to speed with understanding where you fit in property, what properties particular niches and weird habits are. Whereas this wonderful thing that you've got, where you can just pick up, run with the issue almost straight away, is definitely a massive plus, isn't it? I'm guessing that's what a lot of other agents say about it, isn't it, Paul, when they deal with you?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said about understanding the industry, because, you know, social media, lead generation for our industry, it doesn't have to be just social media for anything you do, is so different to general lead generation elsewhere. And obviously having a family business, which I'm still involved with and have been for the last 25 years, I sort of straight away knew that the areas that were weak as a whole for our industry, and hopefully now when people use my services or I help them, I straight away I know what they're thinking, because being involved in the industry, you just know what agents are looking for.
What I love there as well is the idea that, you know, you use your family business as the petri dish. I've got a new idea. We're going to try something. We're going to try something mad about that. It's good. So puts your money where your mouth is, doesn't it? Because you're not going to wind up your family members on that basis.
They have been annoyed a few times.
That's fine. You have to fail fast, they say, and no one does that quicker than me. But anyway, let's just talk through, so people who are just watching this now wonder what they might be able to get from this session. Could you just give us an idea of the full kind of remit of what you offer your clients in this particular area?
Yeah, so we help agents in a number of ways to help understand and utilize all the powerful data that Facebook has to generate seller, landlord, buyer leads, and obviously get that exposure and omnipresent feeling that they're looking for. We do it in a few ways. We either train agents to do this themselves. So with our support, we provide training videos, training calls, and also content on a membership program. And that's very popular. We help sort of 200 to 300 agents on that at any one time. So a membership program where we're available to everyone. And then also if agents don't want to get involved with that, which I totally understand, because obviously there's more and more things that agents have to do now, and some agents just want to concentrate on selling properties or letting properties. We have a managed service where we can build sort of mini funnels, Facebook funnels, which identify sellers and buyers, and really we look at where agents are getting touch points on a digital platform, or all the digital platforms out there, and we try and make sure that they remain in front of those people showing interest. So a couple of different ways that we can help, just depending on how involved agents want to get.
Understand. And where's Facebook up to now, Paul, in terms of, you know, have we missed out on the early bonanza kind of period, or are we still firmly in that space, aren't we? Well, I know we are, of course, but I think some people, get that perception they've somehow missed out. What would you say? Where's Facebook up to in that whole Because just being honest, isn't it? In Google, some of the AdWords spends has almost ruled out SMEs, haven't they, from being able to get involved? But we're nowhere near that stage, are we, with Facebook?
I think that's a good point. Though I think it was so cheap before. You know, when it first started, it was ridiculously cheap. But even now, because even though it's got more expensive, it's still very cheap compared to everything else we do as agents for marketing. And you can still get you know, your message in front of people for pennies. So I don't think it is expensive in any way. I think the offering by Facebook improves all the time. You know, they bring on new platform, new apps, you know, new places for your ads to show and your content to show. So I still think it's extremely cheap.
And the other point there is that my understanding is that Facebook essentially discounts the advertising depending on how relevant you're being, which is a really innovative way of doing it. So again, you know, by engaging somebody by yourself, by getting the messaging better, you should over time be getting a better rate of advertising spend, shouldn't you?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into the algorithm deciding how far to push your ads or your posts. So even with your free posts, you know, engagement is the number one thing Facebook's looking at. So, you know, those comments, likes, and shares. But that also mixes in with your ads. If you put money behind a post, yes, if it's getting more engagement, it's going to get pushed further as well. So yeah, they're definitely nice to be rewarded that way. And what I like about Facebook and that platform is that the little boys can compete with the big boys. You know, it's not all about who's got the biggest budget, and there's not many platforms like that.
Yeah, that's really true. So how many agents have you helped and indeed are helping at the moment then, Paul?
Yeah, so we've got our membership program, and on that, any one time we're helping sort of 200 to 300 agents on the membership program, which is at a group environment, so that's a little bit different. And then obviously we've got the agents that we work on a managed basis as well. So around about 200 or 300 agents at any one time, and obviously that does rotate as well.
That's wonderful, isn't it? Just itself there. That's you know, that's a really big sample of agents to be getting property Facebook related data and feedback about what's working. So that I'm guessing you've pretty much got a great even region, you know, wherever you are in the country, whatever part of the marketplace in, you've probably got a client or two at the very least, haven't you, that you can say, oh, I've seen that problem before and this is how we dealt with that.
Yeah, but very, very lucky. You know, I get to look at a lot of accounts across the country, you know, go into the back parts and also hear what agents are doing that's working well. So that's the idea of the membership program on that side, is to share all those things that are working well, and also what I'm seeing to make sure that they're all kept up to date, because the changing face of Facebook is ridiculous. You know, it's literally a daily change. So my job is to try and make it a little bit easier for everyone, telling them what's working and what's not working.
Great. And you talk about the change of base, and this is again one of the things, I mean, we can't keep up, and our marketing department are ostensibly always watching out for this there. So what kind of exciting new projects do you have on the go, you know, based around what's obviously happening out there?
I think there's a few things we're doing. I think one of the things, which is probably not a new thing, but we all know video is so important, and it's still something which agents really struggle with. Even Instagram recently said that they're no longer an image platform, that they're going to become more known as a video platform, and it's just really pushing that direction. So we're looking at a few things to help agents with video, a couple of things which we'll announce soon, but one of them is, as you're aware, a property video club, which is something we're working with Matt and Chris from Property Video Solutions, and the idea is to have a package where agents can just you know, out the box get the video content and the Facebook advertising all there in one place. So there's going to be a few other ideas coming in that sort of direction, because video is such an important thing for agents now.
Absolutely spot on, isn't it? And it's bringing together two of the most crucial parts of the marketing mix. As I said, it was, to me, it felt like Facebook and Google were merging, but actually, I don't know if that's a great analogy, because that'll be, most people have burst into tears at that thought. Talk to me about as well, one of the things that I have noticed is that when people are, especially, you know, before they have guidance, a lot of people can put a lot of money behind it and use the old dreaded boost, sort of throw it at the wall mentality. We were talking off camera there. One of the big problems can be about getting the right engagement, can't it? So you can get them sort of halfway down the funnel, but just then they don't seem to make it out. How do you advise people to take advantage of that? And is that something that you can look at those backroom, so like the admin setup and things like that, and immediately identify where things might be going wrong?
Yeah, there's I think just taking a step back, I think one of the things that agents, their expectation of Facebook is probably wrong, on the basis that they're thinking that they put one advert out, they're going to get a response, where Facebook is definitely a sort of a priming and reminding platform, and it's a platform that you have to lead with value first of all, rather than sort of a direct sales message, which we're all used to. So most agents are used to putting those leaflets out there saying we're estate agents, or those adverts on the portals, saying that we're estate agents and we can sell your property. But Facebook is totally different. So often it's a case of looking at, are they retargeting? Are they getting back in front of people that are showing interest in them on a regular basis? That longer journey, and then looking at how they're trying to convert those people into actual paying clients. And there's various ways you can do that, and the data will show that. But I think the biggest mistake is not getting back in front of people showing interest. And that's something, as I say, that's so important, probably more important now for agents than just getting exposure, because people are starting that journey so early.
And is that just? I mean, in the Google world, that's what's it called? Retargeting. Is that the same? Can you do exactly the same in Facebook?
Yeah. So retargeting is showing back up in front of that person over and over again. They call it omnipresence, which means that you're everywhere. They say that people now will need anything probably up to 30 touch points. Now it used to be sort of single numbers, but now they reckon up to 30 touch points before someone even reach out to use a company. So when you think about property, that journey starts even earlier, because it's such a big asset. It's an emotional transaction. And a lot of the information's out there for people to start that journey earlier. So the retargeting part is where you can build audiences in Facebook, which will get you back in front of anyone who's watched your videos, anyone who's been on your website, anyone who's been on your Facebook page or started touching your posts. And that's an important audience to stay in front of, and just really take those people for a know, like, and trust until they are ready, and make it very easy for them to reach out when that time is.
So can people, Paul, still do what I know you used to be able to do, which is essentially you could just upload your marketing database or your CRM software, put that in as an audience into Facebook, and then target those like that in a very nice, again, a nice passive kind of brand building way. Is that kind of thing still possible, or are they closing that down the doors on stuff like that?
No, it's still there. So you can upload data into Facebook. You can connect Facebook to your CRM, and Facebook is actually pushing to make that happen on a regular basis now. When you're in Ads Manager, which is the advertising platform, and again, you can do evaluation today, and this afternoon they're then seeing your ads on Facebook. And I think that again is something which agents need to wake up to, really, which is that. Pre-framing is something which agents can do now, and pre-framing means that we can sort of change the opinion of what vendors are thinking before they use our services, and that's done by showing sort of regular adverts or posts to them, perhaps taking them through sort of a marketing journey which positions them as the expert, or makes them understand what their brand is about, or seeing reviews, for example, social proof. And that's definitely going to put that agent in a better position than an agent who's not doing something like that.
You can't tell me you could do this with married partners, because the idea of you can retire, Paul, if you can change the view of your partner. That's just, we're all done. imagine going on Dragon's Den with that.
Fake videos of you cutting the grass and doing the washing.
So I think that's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, getting across that impression to people, and so changing that, and that's the real power of this platform. You spoke about just a minute ago, though, obviously that things are literally changing on a daily basis there. So, without giving away your trade secrets, how do you stay in touch with all the kind of forbidden knowledge and everything else, or is it just readily accessible? But it's just you've got to just make sure you go out there and get it.
Yeah, so one of the things that I do, and it's something that I took a decision to do, was every day I have to spend a couple of hours keeping myself up to date with Facebook and the connected platforms. And I do that by being in touch with some of the biggest ROI, Facebook experts with regards to ads and what they're doing, but also being in sort of groups and programs which have actually have direct access to people working at Facebook. So that's one side, but then also looking at and being part of what's happening in other countries as well. So America, maybe Canada, and also Australia in some cases. They're doing some great stuff on Facebook and social media. So again, being in touch with some of the best people there as well.
And they do try things regionally, don't they? Even though there's big kind of digital Goliath, but they've been known to test things in different locales before they then roll it out across the globe.
Definitely. So you'll hear, there's been some things that have taken a year to hit the UK. So yeah, they will always be testing in certain countries, and then they'll roll it out fully. So one of the things they're doing at the moment, for example, stories, reels on Facebook rather than just on Instagram, that's being rolled out in various countries, as they understand that short entertaining video is what everyone wants. So they're going to roll that out on all their platforms rather than just having it sitting there on Instagram.
And I'm guessing there'll be a few people watching this. Well, I get a lot of people watching me with their head in their hands like this anyway, but there'll be a few people here already overwhelmed with their marketing. They've got too much. So I think they will know that they've got to, they've got to be doing more, and they know this thing, obviously, that Facebook is out there. Or indeed people that are using Facebook at the moment but might not be getting the best from it. What do you say to those people? Can you help them out in terms of lightening the load?
Yeah, no, I get it. That's exactly how I felt 5-10 years ago when I was trying to work out Facebook, and in fact I found that the more information I took on, the more confused I got, and the more I felt exactly like you said. So we obviously aim to just take away the confusion and really only show you what you need to know. So pretty much how we train agents, we probably only show them 30% of what's available on the Facebook platform with regards to what you can do, because you just don't need that other part. It's what's going to benefit you and what's going to get you the best results quickly. So that's my job, to break it all down, see what's working, and then we put it out there so that they can rinse and repeat easily. So I get it. There is too much there to try and just take it all on.
And you were very much like, when we started working with you, were very much like our Facebook. I was going to say Obi-Wan, but it's probably Yoda because he was a bit cooler. We were keen to start running and doing all this stuff there. And you really do need to take that in stages, don't you? Because again, it's about getting that you can still get some amazing quick wins, can't you? But actually, there is a layering that happens. If you do that bit right, you build up the audience, then you can start doing some of the really clever stuff that's out there, can't you?
It definitely, that word you said, building audiences, is probably the first step for most agents, and a lot of them have got some audiences there already, but you need to build that engaged audience, people that are showing interest in you. So that is often the first place we start, and then we move on to the the conversion part.
Start levitating the X-wing just to really lose anyone who's not a sci-fi fan there. Is there a rule of thumb though, how long that kind of process you think is 6 months a realistic period to build that, or can it be done quicker?
So you will generate leads straight away. The platform probably isn't known for generating all the leads straight away, but you will get leads straight away, because Facebook is powerful. It's going to give you that exposure, that distribution to get your message out there, and there will be people there that want to do something straight away. So straight away, yes, but then a huge percentage, more than half, will do something later on. So you're pretty much building a funnel of leads.
Yeah.
But with any sort of marketing, lead generation, you need a good sort of system that's going to look after those leads, so a nurturing system, and that's the second part of it. So you're only as good with Facebook as your sort of nurturing that takes place.
Got you. And look, famously, Facebook has pretty much the world's audience on there. But I was going to just ask you from almost like from a COVID lockdown perspective, would I be right in saying that actually I still imagine that there was a greater level of engagement because of the whole process now? People who had dabbled with Facebook were, really, even famously the silver surfers, of which many of them are homeowners, were getting far more involved with the platform than they ever would have done before. Is that true, or has it just always been the same?
No, it's very true. Literally the levels and numbers of people that were on Facebook during the COVID or the worst part of lockdowns was unbelievable. It was levels that had never seen before, and there were more people probably on Facebook than they were watching TV at some points. That's how busy it was. And you've got to remember that the numbers of the age brackets that are on Facebook now is increasing all the time. People that were sort of 60 up have doubled. Over the last sort of I think it's 5-10 years, it's doubled. The people that are on Facebook and Instagram. And all the numbers are still increasing. Homeowners are definitely the generation that really uses Facebook a lot, because obviously that they've grown into that age bracket where they now own a property and they're on that platform. So yeah, there's no doubt people went on social media during the pandemic to get away from everything that was going on. The platform is a platform for socializing, engaging, and sharing things with family and friends. So they were going on there for entertainment and getting away from everything. And I think that's the way the platform is now as well.
Perfect, Paul. Well, if you want to talk to the #1 Facebook marketing expert for estate agents and property professionals in the UK, I told you I'd be able to remember that, then, obviously reach out to Paul in the obvious place on Facebook, or of course, go to the wonderful Paul Long on kerfuffle.com, see the information, click contact us, or inquire now, and we'll forward on any inquiries obviously through to Paul. I had a look there. I was just looking at trying to have a look for some reviews, and it's not shocking at all that there she is actually again. To come, Michelle here. I'll just read this out because I think this hammers down on everything we've been talking about pretty much this last hour. For anyone who is thinking of learning Facebook advertising with Paul but still needs convincing, I am one branch. We have just booked our 35th valuation in the diary. I think that speaks volumes of getting our advertising and marketing right. Thanks, Paul. Although she does say in brackets, although you have created me a new problem, which is many people will be going boo-hoo on that. But that's great. I mean, if that's not riding roughshod through you just need one more instruction to pay for all this, then I don't know what is. So I think that has to be the last word, doesn't it, Paul? Somebody like Michelle giving a thumbs up like that.
Yeah, that sums it up. It literally is a platform where one more instruction, it's covered, and you'll get far more than that.
Perfect. Well, I'll leave it for me to say. As I said, utterly biased. But if you're thinking about, wanting to improve what you're doing on Facebook, if you're trying to get the first stages, reach out to Paul in the first instance. It's the only time you're allowed to say reach out to somebody, and he will give you the best advice. I'm absolutely certain on it. So, Paul, thank you once more again. And obviously, we look forward to catching up with you over the coming weeks and months.
Brilliant. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.